Okay, so like I said yesterday, we are going to continue with our lesson for line plot. Um, I hope you did review or you remember how to multiply mixed numbers. Okay, the reason why we needed to learn or refresh our memory on how to multiply mixed numbers is because our line plot today it has is a mixed number. So this is our whole number with mixed numbers, I mean with fractions. So if I were to write this down, this would be 5 and 1/4, 5 and 1/2, 5 and 3/4, and then 6. So how do I know that my denominator is 4? Again, it depends on how your line plot is divided. So it depends on how many it is divided. So in this case, before I reach my new whole, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why it is 5 and 1. That's why my fractions are divided into fourths. Okay. So our problem is the line plot below shows the distance students lived from the school in miles. So if you were just to look at the line plot, you know that there are two students that live 5 miles from school. There are three students that live 5 and 1/4 miles from school, so forth and so on. So my question is, what is the difference in miles between the students who live closest and furthest away? Now remember, the question is it's asking for the students. So the total number of miles for the question. All right. So since I have two kids that live 5 miles, okay, since that is my closest, okay, 5 miles is my closest, and my furthest is going to be three kids that live 6 and 3/4 mile away from school. So I have to figure out what my first, so this is a two-step or even three-step problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how many miles, um, how many total number of miles if two kids live 5 miles away from school. So that's really easy because there's no fraction. So there are two students that live 5 miles away from school. So obviously, if I know what the total miles is, I'm going to multiply that. So 2 times 5 is 10 miles. Or if you like addition, 5 plus 5 is 10. But we're going to do multiplication because when the number gets higher, you're not going to keep doing repeated addition. So multiplication is just faster. All right, so now I'm going to figure out what is my total number of miles that for three kids that live 6 and 3/4 mile away from school. So three kids live 6 and 3/4 mile away. So I'm going to multiply 6 and 3/4. So remember what we said. If we are multiplying mixed number, we have to multiply our whole first. So 6 times 3, okay, is 18. So that's my whole. Now I can't forget my fraction. So I'm going to put this here. So 6 times 3 or 3 times 6 is 18 miles. So that's my first half of the answer. Now I'm going to multiply my fraction, okay? So 3 times 3/4. 3 times 3 is 9, and then I just copy my denominator. Now, this is an improper fraction, so I'm going to make that into a mixed number, which you already know that you are going to divide. So 9 divided by 4. So how many times can 4 get into 9? That would be 2. 2 times 4 is 8, and my remainder is 1. So 9/4 is equivalent to 2 and 1/4. So now I have my answer for the whole number and the fraction. So now I can add this so I can have my total number of miles. So here we go. So my 18 plus 2 and 1/4. So my total number of miles is 20 and 1/4. So 3 kids, if I add all their miles together, would be 20 and 1/4 miles. Because remember, there are 3 kids that live 6 and 3/4 miles away from school. So now we don't stop there because it's asking for the difference in miles between the students who live closest and furthest away. So remember, when we are looking for the difference, we subtract. So obviously, now I'm going to subtract these two answers. So 20 and 1/4. Of course, I'm going to start with my longest because it's bigger. 20 minus 10. So easy because this is a whole number. You don't have a fraction. So I can just subtract my wholes. 20 minus 10 is 10. And then since there's no fraction here, I can just copy my 1/4. So my answer, my final answer is 10 and 1/4 miles. Okay. So this is the first video. If you got it, move on and answer your questions. I'm going to attach a second video that you don't have to watch, or you can, because it's going to have a different line plot that's divided into 8 parts. So you can look at that too. I just wanted to make it separate so that the board will not be very messy. Okay.